I never thought I'd end up in this situation, sitting on the edge of our living room couch, fingers nervously twisting the hem of a silky blouse that I never imagined I'd own. The evening sunlight streamed through the curtains, casting a soft golden glow across the room, but it did nothing to calm the storm brewing inside me. I glanced around, making sure everything looked ordinary. Nothing out of place. Nothing that would give away the secret I had kept hidden for so long. My name is Alex, a 32-year-old marketing manager with a seemingly ordinary life. People see me as confident, put together, even a bit charming, someone who can navigate a client meeting or a networking event without breaking a sweat. But behind the polished exterior is a side of me that very few people have seen. A side I've always kept tucked away, like a fragile piece of glass I dare not drop. I had discovered crossdressing years ago, almost by accident. It wasn't about rebellion or a hidden fetish at first. It was curiosity, exploration. I remember the first time I borrowed a dress from a friend during a dare in college. The fabric brushing against my skin, the strange but thrilling sensation of feminine movement in my body, it felt right. I don't know how else to explain it. Over time, it became my private escape, a world where I could explore who I truly was without judgment. But it was always private. Until now. And then there was Emma. Emma, my wife, had always been a whirlwind, smart, passionate, and stubborn in the most endearing ways. We met in a corporate seminar, our conversations flowing effortlessly from marketing strategies to silly childhood stories. She had an aura that drew people in, a sense of confidence I envied and admired. Early in our relationship, I had thought she'd never understand my little secret. Yet somehow she did. Or so I thought. It started innocently. One evening, she joked about how she always wished she had a daughter, someone she could dress up, share secrets with, and bond over pink dresses and sparkly shoes. I laughed nervously, thinking nothing of it. But the joke lingered. Days later, she mentioned it again, her eyes sparkling with that mischievous gleam I had come to know so well. "Imagine," she said softly, almost teasingly, "if you could be my little girl for a day." At first, I laughed it off. I mean, who wouldn't? My mind raced with a mixture of excitement and fear. Part of me thrilled at the idea, the chance to step fully into a persona I'd only ever explored in private. Another part recoiled at the thought of being seen, of my secret being exposed. I had always controlled it, always maintained the delicate balance. But Emma had unknowingly tilted that balance. Our apartment mirrored the life we had built together, cozy, modern, and carefully curated. Soft cream walls, dark wooden furniture, and a hint of lavender in the air created a safe, almost sanctuary-like environment. Yet tonight, as I perched nervously in the living room, the apartment felt like a stage. Every shadow seemed to watch me, every creak of the floorboard a potential betrayal. I glanced at the small collection of clothes I had reluctantly laid out on the sofa, a delicate pink blouse, a matching skirt, sheer stockings, and a pair of nude heels. My heart pounded at the sight of them. Each piece represented not just a physical transformation, but an emotional one. The thought of slipping into them made me feel exposed and vulnerable, yet an undeniable thrill coursed through me. This was no longer a private curiosity. It was becoming a choice I had to navigate carefully. Emma's voice floated from the kitchen, where she hummed an old tune, oblivious to my internal turmoil. It was maddening, in a way, how normal she seemed, how ordinary this night appeared, while I teetered on the edge of a decision that could change everything. I had to ask myself, was I ready to let her in fully? To become the daughter she had whimsically desired? Or was this just a fleeting fantasy, a dangerous line I wasn't meant to cross? The irony wasn't lost on me. Here I was, the supposed adult, the professional, the man of reason, contemplating something utterly irrational. Yet the more I thought about it, the more I realized that this wasn't just about Emma's desire, it was about me too. About exploring a part of myself I had suppressed for too long. About the duality of my existence, the man everyone saw, and the girl I sometimes longed to be. I caught my reflection in the mirror across the room. Even with my usual attire, a simple shirt and trousers, I could see hints of who I could become. My jawline softened in the evening light. My eyes held a flicker of curiosity and fear, and the tension in my shoulders mirrored the anticipation that gripped me. Could I do it? Could I fully step into this world without it consuming me? The thought of Emma discovering me in this vulnerable state both terrified and exhilarated me. Every footstep she took toward the living room made me flinch. I imagined her seeing me, truly seeing me, in this new form. Would she laugh? Embrace me? Or recoil in shock at the person I was daring to become? The uncertainty twisted in my stomach like a live wire, and yet, somewhere beneath the fear, excitement bubbled. Tonight, the ordinary world of our cozy apartment would collide with the extraordinary. I would have to make a choice, remain the man Emma married, or step fully into the persona she had imagined. And as I took a deep breath, reaching for the first piece of the carefully laid-out outfit, I felt that strange, exhilarating shiver that comes only from standing at the precipice of something you both fear and desire. The first touch of silk against my skin sent a shock of realization through me. There was no turning back, not tonight. Emma's desire for a daughter had set events in motion that I couldn't undo. And as I closed my eyes and let the transformation begin, a question burned in my mind. Was this just a game for her, or was it the start of a reality I would never escape? The first piece I touched was the blouse, soft, blush-pink silk that felt impossibly smooth under my fingers. I hesitated for a moment, staring at it as though it were a forbidden object. I could almost hear Emma's voice, playful and teasing, imagining me in it. "You'd make the perfect little girl, Alex." The thought sent a shiver down my spine. Was it excitement? Fear? Both? I slipped it on carefully, feeling the fabric glide over my skin. My chest felt tighter, a strange, delicate pressure I wasn't used to. The blouse clung gently to my torso, accentuating a form I had only imagined in private moments. The mirror across the room reflected a version of me that seemed both familiar and foreign. The man I had been was still there, but beneath the surface, a new persona began to emerge. Next came the skirt, a soft pastel blue, pleated and falling just above my knees. I lifted it, feeling the crisp fabric against my legs. As I stepped into it, my reflection startled me. The skirt moved differently than my usual trousers. It swayed with every step, a hypnotic, almost magical rhythm that made me aware of every motion. I realized with a jolt that this wasn't just clothing, it was a transformation of identity. Then came the stockings. Sliding them up my legs was both intimate and thrilling. Each brush of nylon over my skin made me hyper-aware of the softness, the vulnerability, the sensuality of the act. I could feel my heartbeat accelerate, a mix of adrenaline and nervous anticipation coursing through me. Finally, the shoes, nude heels, modest but elegant. Standing in them made my legs feel longer, my posture straighter. I wobbled at first, gripping the edge of the sofa for balance, and then, slowly, I began to glide across the room with a tentative grace. The mirror reflected a perfect symmetry between the external transformation and my inner feelings. Both were shifting, evolving. I paused and looked at myself fully, examining every detail. My hair, tied back in my usual style, now framed my face differently. My makeup was subtle, a light foundation, a hint of blush, mascara to lengthen my lashes, but it made all the difference. The face staring back at me was Alex, yes, but also her. I didn't have a name for this persona yet, but I felt her growing inside me, urging me forward, daring me to embrace her fully. And then reality hit. Emma could walk in at any moment. My body tensed, my mind racing. The thrill of crossdressing was intoxicating, yes, but it was amplified tenfold by the possibility of discovery. Every creak of the floor, every distant sound of the city outside felt like a warning. I tried to calm myself, taking deep, steady breaths, reminding myself that I had the apartment to myself for now. I moved to the living room mirror, adjusting my hair and clothing with meticulous care. Each adjustment was a ritual, a silent affirmation of this new identity. I studied the reflection, noticing the way my shoulders had softened, the curve of my hips enhanced by the skirt, the delicate tilt of my head giving my face a different expression altogether. My lips, slightly glossed, looked fuller, almost as if the mirror recognized the persona more than I did. I couldn't deny it. This was exhilarating. Yet, beneath the excitement, anxiety simmered. Part of me feared the moment Emma returned. What if she laughed? What if she rejected me? My heart clenched at the thought. And yet, another part of me, a deeper, more hidden part, longed for her to see me like this, to truly see the girl I could be. As the minutes stretched into what felt like hours, I began to experiment with movement. I walked slowly across the room, swaying my hips slightly, testing the rhythm of my steps and heels. My reflection followed every motion, a perfect mimic of elegance. I twirled once, a small, nervous rotation, and couldn't help but smile. For the first time in years, I felt entirely free, even if just for a moment. Then came the internal struggle. I remembered my life outside this apartment, my job, my colleagues, my friends. None of them could know this side of me. Could they ever accept her? The thought made my chest tighten. Yet here I was, embracing her, letting the persona grow stronger with every passing second. The contrast between my public life and this secret existence had never felt more stark. And yet, the suspense wasn't just in my mind. The apartment seemed to take on a life of its own. A sudden sound, the faint hum of a car outside, a bird tapping on the window, made me freeze. My heart pounded, as if someone were right behind me. Each noise, each shadow, felt like a test of my composure. I reminded myself that I had to stay calm. Emma wasn't home yet, but the anticipation, it was maddening. I experimented with her persona more. Sitting down carefully on the couch, I crossed my legs, feeling the skirt slide gracefully. I ran my fingers through my hair, adjusting strands to frame my face perfectly. Every movement, every small gesture, felt like a secret dance between the man I had been and the girl I was becoming. And with each movement, the thrill intensified. Then a knock at the door shattered my focus. My heart leapt into my throat. Who could it be? Emma wasn't due back for another hour. My mind raced. Was it a neighbor? A delivery? Panic surged through me. I considered ignoring it, pretending to be absent. But curiosity and fear combined into a paralyzing weight. I tiptoed to the door, heels clicking softly against the floor. Peering through the peephole, I saw a delivery man holding a small package. Relief washed over me, but only briefly. Even small interruptions like this threatened to expose me, to shatter the delicate illusion I had created. Carefully, I opened the door, accepted the package, and closed it again, my hand shaking slightly. Back inside, I sank onto the couch, trying to steady my breath. The adrenaline made my heart race, but it also made me acutely aware of the sensations I had never experienced so intensely. The silk of the blouse, the sway of the skirt, the height of the heels, they all combined into a cocktail of vulnerability and empowerment. I realized, with a shiver, that I had never felt more alive. And then, I heard a familiar sound. Emma's car pulling into the driveway. My stomach twisted. There was no time to change back. No time to retreat. I was trapped in this persona, fully visible to the woman who unknowingly pushed me into it. My mind raced with possibilities. Should I greet her as Alex? Or embrace the persona fully, letting her see me exactly as I was now? I took a deep breath, letting the calm I could muster settle over me. My reflection in the mirror caught my eye again. The girl staring back at me was confident, poised, almost defiant. And in that moment, I realized something. I didn't want to go back. Not yet. Not entirely. The door opened, and Emma stepped in, humming softly. She dropped her keys on the counter, oblivious to the transformation unfolding just a few feet away. My pulse thundered in my ears as I waited for her reaction, every second stretching into eternity. Would she notice immediately? Would she laugh? Or would she see the truth and understand that this was more than just a playful experiment? Her eyes met mine, and for a fleeting moment, the world seemed to hold its breath. The suspense, the fear, the thrill, all converged in her gaze. And as I prepared to meet it, I felt the undeniable truth. Tonight, nothing would ever be the same. The moment Emma stepped through the door, the air in the apartment changed. I felt every beat of my heart echoing in my chest as she hummed softly, swinging her bag over her shoulder. My reflection in the mirror seemed to mock me. There I was, poised and elegant, fully immersed in this persona, and yet completely exposed. Her eyes landed on me. For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then a smile, slight but knowing, curled at the edges of her lips. "You're different," she said, tilting her head. "Alex, what?" Panic surged through me. My knees felt weak, and my hands trembled. I wanted to explain, to say it was just an experiment, just a playful thing, but the words caught in my throat. Instead, I froze, hoping my composure, such as it was, would carry me through. Emma stepped closer, curiosity sparkling in her eyes. "Is this for me?" she asked softly, almost teasingly. The question, so simple, sent a jolt of both relief and fear through me. She had noticed, yes, but she hadn't reacted negatively yet. I swallowed hard, my throat dry. I wanted to try, I admitted, my voice shaking. "For you, for us." Her smile widened, but her gaze sharpened, appraising me as if trying to read my very soul. "You've always been full of surprises," she whispered. She circled me slowly, eyes lingering on the skirt, the blouse, the stockings, the heels. Every step she took made my pulse pound harder. Then came the unexpected twist. She reached for my hand, and before I could react, she pulled me toward the living room couch, gently but firmly. "Sit," she commanded, a playful authority in her tone. My stomach twisted. Was this teasing? Acceptance? Or a trap? As I sank into the couch, my legs crossed nervously. The sway of the skirt felt surreal under her gaze. I could feel every detail of my transformation amplified by the suspense. The height of the heels, the softness of the stockings, the delicate blush on my cheeks. I was acutely aware of how exposed I was, and yet the thrill was intoxicating. Emma sat beside me, close enough that I could feel the warmth of her arm brushing mine. "You know," she said softly, "I've always wanted a daughter, someone I could dress, guide, and watch grow. And tonight, somehow you've become her." The words sent a strange mixture of fear and exhilaration through me. My mind raced. Was this real? Was she serious? Could I really step fully into this role without losing myself? My pulse thundered as I tried to speak, but all that came out was a stammered, I don't know if I can." Emma chuckled softly, her eyes glinting with mischief. "You don't have to know yet. Just be." Her hand rested lightly on mine, and for a moment, the room fell into a charged silence. Every nerve in my body felt heightened. Every breath was electric. Then, a sudden knock at the door shattered the tension. Both of us jumped, startled. My heart leapt into my throat. Who could it be now? Emma's gaze flicked toward the door, and I felt a cold wave of dread. I had hoped to keep this private, to savor the transformation in secret, but now the possibility of exposure loomed. Emma's voice was calm, almost teasing. "Go see who it is." My knees shook as I walked toward the door, my heels clicking sharply against the floor. I peeked through the peephole. It was my neighbor, Mr. Lang, holding a package. Relief mingled with irritation. Why now? Of all times? I opened the door, accepted the package, and closed it, heart still racing. Returning to the living room, I realized Emma's gaze had followed me the entire time. Her eyes were unreadable, half amusement, half something deeper. She patted the seat beside her again. "Come sit. Don't be nervous. You're perfect like this." I sank beside her, feeling the weight of the transformation fully. The silk blouse against my skin, the sway of the skirt, the delicate heels, it all felt surreal under her eyes. I realized, with a thrill, that the suspense wasn't just about being caught. It was about being seen, truly seen for the first time. But then came the symbolic moment, the moment that cemented the emotional stakes. As I shifted nervously, my wig, slightly loose from the earlier movements, slipped partially from my head. My heart stopped. I reached to adjust it, hands trembling, aware that this could completely ruin the illusion. Emma noticed instantly. Her reaction? Not shock, not judgment, but laughter, soft, teasing, and strangely approving. "You're learning," she whispered, as if reading my thoughts. The relief was intoxicating, but the suspense remained. Every moment with her now carried the potential for discovery, for emotional exposure. We moved together, exploring the boundaries of this new dynamic. Emma guided me, instructing me to adjust my posture, to cross my legs just so, to let the skirt fall gracefully. Her guidance was both playful and commanding, and I felt a strange blend of fear, excitement, and vulnerability. I was no longer just Alex. I was the girl she had imagined, living a reality I had only ever fantasized about. The night deepened, and with it, the suspense escalated. Emma's eyes never left me, her attention absolute. Every sound outside, the hum of the city, the creak of the building, the distant bark of a dog, felt like it could shatter the fragile reality we were creating. And yet, I couldn't pull away from her gaze, couldn't resist the pull of this thrilling, terrifying transformation. Then came the unexpected climax, the emotional peak. Emma leaned closer, whispering, "Do you like being her?" The question, simple yet loaded, hit me like a lightning bolt. I hesitated, my mind spinning. Did I like it? More than I thought. More than I dared admit? The truth pressed against the surface of my consciousness, like water against a dam. I do, I admitted, my voice barely above a whisper. The words felt like a confession, a surrender. Emma's smile widened, and she reached out, brushing a strand of hair from my face. Her touch was electric, grounding yet provocative. "Good," she said. "Because this isn't going away anytime soon." The room seemed to spin. My heart raced, my body tingled with a mix of fear and exhilaration. I realized that the transformation wasn't just physical, it was emotional, psychological. I was becoming someone new, someone both Alex and her girl, intertwined in ways I had never anticipated. And then, the final twist, the sound of the front door unlocking again. My stomach dropped. Emma froze, her eyes narrowing. I looked toward the hallway, my mind racing. Who else could it be? A friend? A neighbor? Or, God forbid, someone from work? The suspense, the tension, the sheer thrill of the unknown gripped me completely. Emma's hand tightened around mine, grounding me. "Whatever happens," she whispered, "we face it together." Her words, calm and resolute, sent a shiver through me. I nodded, barely able to speak, knowing that this night, this moment, would change everything. And just as the hallway shadowed into the doorway, the scene froze in suspense. The audience is left wondering, who is coming in? Will they see the transformation? Will Alex's secret be exposed? Or will Emma's embrace protect the fragile new reality we are creating together? The shadow in the hallway grew larger, stretching across the polished wooden floor like a dark omen. My heart slammed against my ribcage, threatening to break free. Emma's hand gripped mine, tight and reassuring, but even her touch couldn't fully quiet the storm of fear and excitement swirling inside me. The door creaked open, revealing nothing. Just the dimly lit hallway, empty except for the faint outline of the apartment beyond. My pulse slowed for a brief second, but the tension didn't lift. Something felt off, too quiet, too deliberate. Every nerve in my body screamed that the suspense wasn't over. Emma leaned closer, whispering, "Don't worry. Whoever it is will handle it." Her calm voice, so different from the chaos in my mind, gave me a small shred of courage. I nodded, though my legs shook under the weight of my heels. I returned my gaze to the mirror, watching the girl I had become. She looked back at me with wide, uncertain eyes, a perfect blend of vulnerability and daring confidence. The reflection felt like a warning and an invitation all at once. I realized then that I wasn't just hiding a secret. I was stepping into a new reality, one that could never be fully undone. Then, a sound, a faint shuffle, almost imperceptible at first, echoed from the living room doorway. My breath hitched. Emma's eyes darted toward the sound, sharp and alert. I could see the gears turning in her mind, the calculation of possibilities, the recognition that our private world might be on the verge of exposure. I froze, every muscle taut. The stockings pressed against my legs, the silk blouse clinging to my skin, the heels making each movement deliberate. Every part of me screamed to flee, to return to the safety of the old identity, but the thrill, the undeniable pull of who I was becoming, kept me rooted. Emma stepped slightly in front of me, a shield and a partner all at once. Her eyes caught mine, a silent question and command. "Are you ready?" I swallowed, feeling my pulse spike. Whatever was coming, I had to face it fully as her, fully as this new version of myself. The shuffle grew louder, more deliberate. Then came the voice, soft, unfamiliar, and tinged with suspicion. "Emma? Alex? Is anyone here?" Panic surged through me. My mind raced 1,000 miles an hour. Should I speak? Should I pretend nothing was wrong? Or should I let Emma's presence cover for me, keep me safe as this persona walked the razor's edge of exposure? Emma's hand tightened over mine, grounding me. "Stay calm," she whispered. "We can do this." My stomach twisted. The moment of truth had arrived. The threshold between private desire and public exposure, between fear and exhilaration, was right there. I could feel the heat of the blush on my cheeks, the press of the heels beneath me, the delicate fabric of the skirt clinging to my legs. Every sensory detail amplified the stakes, making the suspense almost unbearable. Then silence. The voice had stopped. Footsteps had ceased. The apartment seemed to hold its breath, the air thick with anticipation. I dared not move, barely daring to breathe. Emma's eyes searched mine again, her lips parting slightly as if to speak, but she held herself in check. We were frozen, poised on the knife edge of discovery. And then the final, chilling twist. A shadow flickered across the living room floor, just beyond the edge of the sofa. My pulse jumped again, every instinct screaming danger. I couldn't see clearly who or what it was, but the sense of being watched, of being on the verge of exposure, was absolute. I swallowed hard, realizing that nothing in my life would ever be the same. This persona, this girl, wasn't just a disguise anymore. She was becoming a part of me, irrevocably intertwined with my identity, and now the world, or at least this intruding presence, was about to collide with it. Emma leaned closer again, her voice a low, thrilling whisper. "No matter what happens, stay with me. Don't back down." The shadow moved closer, and I felt the fabric of the skirt brush against my legs with a whispering friction that made me hyper-aware of every inch of my transformation. Every heartbeat echoed in my ears. The suspense, the fear, the electric thrill of being caught, everything converged into one perfect, terrifying, intoxicating moment. And then the scene froze. The viewer is left on the precipice. Who is the shadow? Will Alex be discovered? Will Emma protect the secret, or is everything about to unravel? The unanswered questions hang in the air like the final note of a symphony, sharp, thrilling, and impossible to ignore.